Guys, we're back live. We're going to here with the incomparable Rodney Green. We're going to try and size up today's weigh-in and give you an idea of what to expect tomorrow night on Netflix between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua.
Vashon Holdings proudly presents WaraWeek Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herron.
Guys, welcome. Happy Thursday evening to all of you guys. I'm coming to you live from Brandy's Ice House on Grissom and Calabria. How do you like that, guys? We're getting ready to start pool tournament and dart tournament while I'm spinning records. So we've got about 30 or 40 minutes only with the incomparable Rodney Green. Rodney, how are you doing, brother?
Yo. I'm good. I can't complain. Almost the weekend. So, yeah, it's my type of party, bro.
And there it is. Tomorrow night's a big fight. And I tell you what, before we get started, we're going to get started with a new segment that Rod's never seen before, but we're going to get him acquainted. It's called Terrible Fan Takes. How do you like that, guys? Let's get started.
Terrible Fan Takes on Twitter/X.
In all of his grotesque glory. Here we go. Hold on. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, hold on. It should be right there. Okay. Very good. Chihuahua. Let me know when you can see this. Here we go. It's a truly terrible fan take, and I want to get your take as soon as we see this.
Victor Conte passes away, and Terrence Bud Crawford magically retires. This is absolutely spooky at the highest level. As you know, Victor Conte ran the snack program. Terrence Bud Crawford was his pride pupil at the snack program. People and conspiracy theorists were saying that a lot of fighters is on that snack shit. Respectfully, what did Victor Bonte have to do with the snack? What did Victor Bonte have to do with VADA? And why did Terrence Bud Crawford magically retire right after Victor Bonte passes away? Respectfully, who got left the super serum in this situation? We need to know who has the snack formula in their hands right now. This is a deeper, darker criminal link, and I say that with
Oh, jeez. Rod, I'm going to put the golf ball on the tee, and I'm going to let you swing away, brother. Have at it.
I mean, man, this is like really silly. I was always taught to respect the dead as well too. And I think he shows a lot of no class by speaking on something that he really has no valid proof, pure speculation. It just kind of reeks of just clickbait, man. Just want to sound knowledgeable about something that he really doesn't know what he's talking about, though. So, again, man, it's unfortunate, man, where these guys conjure up things uh, for likes and tweets. It's just, it's unbelievable, man. So yeah, man, that is a that is quite uh, laughable for him to suggest that, Conte passes away has anything to do with Terrence Crawford retirement. Wow.
I tell you what, man. Look, I have a lot of respect for Victor Conti, and every time I talk to him, he was always a really nice guy, and I really liked him. And whenever we would speak, we would never talk about boxing. We would always talk about music because he's the former bass player of one of your favorite funk bands from the '70s, Tower of Power.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
but look, going back to the topic, if you're accusing Terrence Crawford of doing no good by merely being affiliated with Snack, then you're going to have to make that same assessment about guys like Devin the Dream Haney, who have been Snack clients for the last 5 years. So once again, it's like, look, and you pretty much have to make that assessment about every single fighter in boxing that uses a conditioning coach. Rod, are you ready to make that assessment?
I
Or do you
mean,
think this is a case of some moron on social media connecting the dots and formulating a completely wrong picture?
well, here's the thing, though. If you're going to accuse Terrence, then I think you have to pretty much accuse the sport with the conditioning trainers because, like I said, maybe like 30 years ago, conditioning trainers wasn't as prevalent as they are now. Okay. We spoke about this, Joseph, man. Fighters would rather have conditioning trainers than to spar rounds now. That's just the way it is. Uh, but with that being said, man, my issue is with him. He waits for Conte to pass away, and the timing of it with Terrence Crawford retiring. If you're gonna connect the dots, man, connect the whole sport. Okay, connect the whole
That's it.
sport, but don't use them two as an isolated incident because it sounds like a witch hunt when you do that.
Sounds like he's just hating to me, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Chingao. Want to give a big shout out to my brother Jesus. Sam, good to see you, my friend. And I'll tell you what, we're going to go to our next one. And this isn't a terrible fan take. This is just, we're going to show you today's weigh-in ceremony. This wasn't the actual weigh-in. This is the weigh-in ceremony. I don't want to get your thoughts on this, Brother Rod. Let's see, here it goes. From Miami. Let me know when you can see this. It's a little slow, but let me know when you can see this, brother.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
A 30-pound weight difference. It doesn't matter. The biggest fight in the world. Live around the world on Netflix. Don't adjust your TVs. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Anthony Joshua. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Jake Paul. It's all live from the 305 tomorrow night and live around the world on Netflix. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, AJ versus Jake Paul.
Yeah.
We'll have a word here.
What are your thoughts, my friend? What are your thoughts? What do you
Well,
take away from any of that?
I look at it, man, where uh, I kind of don't know what to think, man, because I'm used to traditional face-offs. You know what I mean? With me being watching boxing so much, so I don't know if this is staged or if it's some real animosity. I don't know if the guys really hate each other or they like each other or what. So it's kind of hard for me to gauge just from that. But I'll tell you what, though, man, Anthony is significantly bigger than Jake Paul. That's the thing that stands out to me first and foremost, Joseph. And
Indeed.
you know, as much as we say somebody's washed up, and I'm not here to disagree with that, but you know it, and I know it, Joseph. The last thing that leaves a heavyweight is his power. So
Yep.
we'll see tomorrow how it all plays out.
We'll see, brother. Are you ready to play?
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
Yeah. Number one, Big Rodney. Factorovich him with a 22-foot ring. Jake Paul is not planning on going toe-to-toe with the behemoth Anthony Joshua. Fact or fiction?
Fact, fact.
Despite all the false bravado that he just showed at the weigh-in, you don't think he's going to go toe-to-toe with Joshua?
Now it's no way. It's no way. You know he will be retreating and on his bike a huge part of the fight though. That's a very sizable like ring though. So and and he got it
Once
for a
again,
reason.
he demanded that extra ring size for a reason,
Mhm.
not because he wanted to fight in a phone booth. Yep, you got it, Rodney. I tell you what, guys, I genuinely look. I'll tell you what I expect a little bit later on in the show, but you got to tip your hat to Jake Paul, man, for actually making this a spectacle.
Huh.
Now, if this plays out, Rodney, to be a real stinker, where he's just trying to use the entire ring and survive, take Anthony Joshua into the late rounds, how do you think Netflix is going to feel about this?
Well, here's the thing, Joseph. You know, I look at this fight like myself. I want to see, and tomorrow will be a telltale of just how everything is orchestrated. But you know, when you have fights like this, man, once you lose your momentum as a fighter, once you have a bad outing, once folks see like, okay, you know what, the actors ran thin. Um, I don't know where Jake Paul can go, and I don't know how Netflix are going to want to invest, going forth. So really, it's a lot of pressure on, in my opinion, for Jake Paul to perform at a high level, because Netflix wants to continue to support and have a vested interest, in the sport. But at the same time, we'll see the numbers on Netflix tomorrow and what the cash register look like going forth, though. But with that being said, the folks who really don't like Jake Paul, who are just tuning in to see him lose, if he puts on the stinker or a bad performance, it's going to validate that in a lot of the fans saying, you know what, we told y'all he was a farce. He was a YouTuber. He wasn't a real fighter. I've seen what I needed to see. You know what I mean? I'm done. And, at some point that may happen, whether it's tomorrow or the next fight or the fight after, we'll see. But each fight that he fights, man, it does carry a lot of consequences because he's trying to be a flag holder, you know what I mean, going forth and create this niche in combat sports. But he has to perform, on each fight, and we'll see. Don't let him lose by knockout. Don't let him lose, in dramatic fashion because, man, it will be pretty much over for him, in my opinion.
sorry, my mic was muted. My apologies. In my opinion, Rodney, I think it would be much better moving forward if he actually got knocked out
Wow.
quickly. Because look, after the Mike Tyson debacle, Netflix demands something, a much better product for all the money that they're shelling out to this guy. They want to see some drama. They want to see some real drama. They want to see a knockout. Because that's what Jake Paul promised. Not only asses in seats, but fans leaving the broadcast at home and the arena in Miami with that crackle. You've been to those events where you've seen a clean knockout and there's a crackle in the air, almost an electricity. They want people talking about this in a positive manner on Monday morning at the water cooler. They don't want another, oh, dude, you know what? That's the last time I'm tuning into Netflix. This is just a sham. That's the last thing that they want.
Well, here's the thing, Joseph. You know, you have to understand when you invest in somebody like Jake Paul, you know, uh, he's not, a world class fighter. Everything has to be lined up, promoted correctly, staged correctly, orchestrated, right opponent, right ring size. You know, uh, everything has to go to a T for it to really, come off as a bona fide event. But I look at it like this, though, man, and I'm looking at the weigh-in. Man, at some point, that well is going to run dry. He's gonna fight a fighter that can find a weakness in him, man. Now, whether that's Joshua or somebody going forth, though, and again, would he get knocked out? Would that be good for boxing or good for Netflix? I don't know, but I think he does have the pressure on him to perform with him trying to be a new flag bearer, especially in this little, niche area where he's fighting. But we'll see how it plays out. I think a lot of folks really are tuning in to see Jake Paul get whooped more so to see Anthony Joshua get whooped, if that makes sense.
I think you're right. Let's say hello to our dear friends in the chat. Oh, brother. Lance Meyer. He says, Joseph, you causing trouble again? Always, my friend. Thank you for joining us, Lance Meyer from Minnesota, the great state of Minnesota. And my brother Hawker Mustang, salute to you, my friend. Said Jake Paul's going to run like Shakur Stevenson. Oh, say it ain't so. I hope it's not a repeat of Shakur versus Edwin De Los Santos. That was embarrassing. And Hawker also says Jake Paul doesn't have the height and the reach to win on the outside. There's going to come a point where he's going to be forced to fight. And look, I'll talk about this in a little bit, but let's get the opinion of Big John Furry in a second. Here we go. Lance says, I actually like this. I'm somewhat excited about it. You know what? That makes two of us. I am too. I really am. Hand to Stone, thank you for joining us, brother. God bless you, sir. Good to see you. JumpTube says, good to see you, my friend. He says, Paul and AJ is so poorly promoted, not getting any momentum going into this. It depends on who you talk to, because most people are talking about tuning in tomorrow. Now, if you're talking about Miami itself, that's never been a boxing city, has it, Rodney?
Never.
I don't know why he chose to put it there.
Yeah, I mean, again, a huge Latin influence. He does stay in Puerto Rico. I don't know where his thinking was, but again, man, you have so many options in Miami, so many things to do. oftentimes, man, to convince someone to, invest in that kind of, entertainment. I mean, you have a lot of other competition as well, man. So we'll see what the cash register look like at the door, and what the attendance look like, though. But
From what I've been told, it's not even sold out yet.
wow,
Yep,
well,
that says it all. Look, guys. Florida has always been a big football state. The Marlins, even when they won the World Series, didn't do shit. Didn't even move the needle. That says it all, guys. Boxing is non-existent in Miami. And Lance Meyer says Pro Box is killing it tonight. Hey, that's my brother Ramon Cardenas in the main event. I was the ring announcer for his first 5 or 6 fights. Yes, it was. And we want to welcome my brother, the boxing scholar. He says 243, laughs his ass off. Yeah, man, laugh now, brother. That bet is still ongoing, sir. We'll talk to you after the fight. Woo! But guys, I want to get your thoughts on this next video. This next video, brother. This is with Big John Fury. All right, let's see. Right here. Let me know when you can see this, Rodney.
got
All
it.
right. All right, hold on. Very good. Here we go, dude. Let me know what you think.
But Anthony, listen to me. Don't take a dive with this Jake Paul, mate. Do not do that. Not for $1 billion, my
It's all right.
Don't do it. Don't do as the others have done.
What's up, dude?
Do not take dives. If he fights, you knock him dead as a nit. Good luck with it.
Tyson says he's going to bet
up,
£1 million on Jake Paul knocking out
This is what
Joshua.
I'm saying. How does that work?
He can't, can he?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick.
Live on a podcast.
So if it goes any other way, you know.
Yeah.
But Anthony,
It's good to see you, Scotty.
listen to me. Don't take a dive with this Jake Paul, mate. Do not do that. Not for $1 billion, my pal. Don't do it. Don't do as the others have done. Do not take dives. If he fights, you knock him dead as a nit. And good luck with it.
Tyson says he's going to bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking out
This is
Joshua.
what I'm saying. How does that work?
He can't, can he?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick.
Rodney, your thoughts on Big John Fury saying that Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick?
I mean, and one thing I love about Fury, John Fury, he always speaks his mind. Okay, so first and foremost, but in theory, if we're looking at a Joshua who's trained, who's mentally prepared, and maybe a Joshua of 3 years ago that didn't have to be in a 22, a 22-inch square foot ring, he should be able to catch him. But as I said, we haven't seen Anthony Joshua in a year and a half, right? But like one of our listeners just said, and he brings up a good point, man. Jake Paul really can't touch Joshua from the outside. Okay. At some point, he got to go in the lion's den, and we'll see what kind of snap Joshua has on his punches to really, really, man, see if Jake Paul can stand that letter though. But no, I don't really have a bone with Mr. Fury what he's saying, because in theory that should be able to happen. But I just don't know what to expect from Joshua, because he's been inactive, and when he did lose, he lost in brutal fashion.
Yep. There it is. There it is, brother. And look. I'll say this. Because we're only going to stay on for another 10, 15 minutes. I'll start letting guys know exactly what to expect here. Right? Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before we do that, let's do another one of these.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Number 2, Big Rodney. Fact or fiction, brother, if Anthony Joshua even struggles a little bit against fake Jake, the highly anticipated event opposite Tyson Fury will diminish considerably. Fact or fiction?
I think so. It would diminish some. However, it still is some diehards for both of them that would still pay, in my humble opinion, to see them fight in Wembley Stadium. And they may not sell it out, but I think, they can still, man, garner some interest, though, even if he struggles. Now, if he gets knocked out or just looks like trash and, you know, uh, a promoter's going to have to think about that. But Eddie Hearn, man, he seems to always get Joshua fights, man. I don't know how he does it, but he always seems to get in fights, man.
There it is. Yeah, he sure does. I tell you what, honestly, guys, take care, guys. This is going to be a horror show for real Anthony Joshua fans who are looking to see the monster who demolished Francis Ngannou. Guys, he's shot. And I'm sorry, I know this to be true, guys. This is why he's grabbing for straws and switching trainers with each fight. What happens, Rodney, in throughout your Rolodex, in your mind of boxing history? What does it mean when a fighter starts switching trainers with each fight?
I mean, especially, you see it a lot, even in the heavyweights, whether it's Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. They tend to be, even when Mike Tyson, as he got progressed in his career, he couldn't keep a consistent trainer. Usually, man, they're starting to descend in their career, in their skills, and they become very discontent with the trainers, and it's like a revolving door. And that could be what we're witnessing with AJ. It
That's
very could
exactly
be.
what we're witnessing with AJ, brother. He's looking and pointing the finger at people to blame. Guys, his timing's going to be off. He hasn't had a real camp. He's been trying to lose this weight and make the 245 threshold. His timing's going to be off. His footwork is going to be atrocious. Jay Leon Love and Jake Paul know this. So does BJ Flores. They say, hey, for the first half of the fight, move him around the ring. Get him fatigued. He can't cut off the ring and close the distance to save his life. He's never been an effective aggressor. Get him out of the pocket. Get him to move his feet. Get him to start sucking wind and start setting those traps for him and have him walk into something. That's Jake Paul's game plan, guys. If Joshua is smart, he's going to stand and hold court in the center of the ring and say, hey, I'm not going to come get you. I'm going to wait till you come and get me. And I'm going to beat your ass when you're trying to close the distance. But he's not going to do that because all the pressure is on Joshua. And it's going to make him look horrific. Like he's old. Like he's out of shape. Like he's been depleted because of the weight restriction. He's never been an effective aggressor, guys. And he's going to look like shit. This is what Jake Paul, this is why he chose this fight. Remember, guys, Jake Paul chose Anthony Joshua, not the other way around. Did everyone forget about that? Look at this. Jump Tube says, is Ben Davison out? Yep. After he got knocked out, he hosed him. Does that sound like someone who is confident of their abilities? No. Sounds like someone who is trying to point fingers and accuse guys rather than taking accountability. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua is a 50-50 fight, brother. Rodney, prove me wrong, brother.
Well, again, man, one thing, whether he's fighting Jake Paul or he's fighting uh, Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, you know, the miles he's accumulated, man, are what they are on his body. Okay. His knockouts are his knockouts, and you can't give that back or take that back. So that will be, you know, a indication of what we see tomorrow. Now, would it be enough still to beat a novice, a YouTube sensation? I think, you know, again, we can't write him off because he is a true heavyweight and he has knocked out greater men or bigger men than Jake Paul. But we've seen this before in Tyson Fury when he fought Francis. When you don't have a training camp, that is the worst I ever saw Tyson Fury look in a fight. That was the worst.
He looked like a novice.
I mean, just from his conditioning, just from his technique. I mean, it was like I couldn't believe it. So let's not minimize what inactivity does. No training camp, not a chance to really scout your opponent like you want to. I mean, it could get pretty reminiscent of Tyson Fury, a few years ago.
Uh oh. Says I would need 20-1 to take Jake. Guys, you don't have to do that. Think about this, Rodney. Why is Anthony Joshua only a 9-1 betting favorite on most race and sports books? Why is Jake Paul only a 625 betting underdog? A little more than just 6-1 betting underdog. Why is that?
Well,
They
again,
know something. They know something, brother.
yeah,
Jake Paul knows. And dude, I'm telling you guys, I know this to be true. Anthony Joshua is washed up. Why do you think he's immediately interested rather than going for another world title? He wants to cash out with a big fight with Tyson Fury immediately following this. Why do you think that is? He's not talking about grabbing a title from Fabio Wardley. He's not talking about fighting Usyk again. He has resorted to training with Usyk's team. Why do you think that is? He's done, son. It's all over for Joshua. And I know the fans are going to hate me for saying this, but I know this to be true. He's washed up. And once again, there's a difference in just being in shape and then being in fight shape, Rodney. You know this.
absolutely.
So how would I bet? I'll tell you how I'd bet. I'm going to take the over-under. I'm going to take the over. That's easy money, guys, because this is going the distance. No one is getting knocked out. And I'll tell you how else I'd bet. I'd put $500 on a draw because there's a very good possibility it's going to be a draw. How do you like that, Rodney?
I could see it, man. I really could see it. I think regardless, man, you got to think Jake Paul, with him being the A side now, he will be given the benefit of the doubt. So, I mean, you're not too far from what I think most likely will play out.
Guys, this is not good. This is not good for real boxing fans. This is not good for Anthony Joshua fans, but guys, this is where we are. Anthony Joshua, remember his last time in the ring, he face planted. He kissed the canvas. He didn't put his arms out to keep himself up. His face hit the canvas. That happened in his last fight. And he had elbow surgery without a tune-up. And this is an 8-rounder. If this were a 12-rounder, I'd say, you know what? Anthony Joshua was going to eventually catch him. But that's not happening. Guys, it's 8 rounds. I see this either playing out in a split decision favoring either Anthony Joshua or Jake Paul, or I see this a majority draw. But either way, the safe bet is to take the over. That's easy money, guys. That's easy money. Rodney, your final thoughts before we say goodnight to everybody.
Well, definitely will be tuning in tomorrow, and we're going to see two things. We're going to probably see, Joshua continue to look a shove himself, or we're going to see, man, Jake Paul wins another fight that was somewhat tilted and maybe scripted and orchestrated, for his benefit. But with that being said, with
Don't
that being
use the word scripted.
not scripted, but again, orchestrated as far as the ring size, him picking Anthony Joshua on the decline, all that. But with that being said, my interest is peaked. I will be tuning in, and I will catch you guys next week, man. I look forward to hearing from y'all.
Oh, wait a minute. One more time, brother.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Yeah, we need your opinion on this because we haven't heard your take on this, brother. Number 3, Fact or Fiction. Pitbull Cruz will get the Tank Davis rematch before Lamont Roach does. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Fact. ¿Por qué, señor?
Yeah. Easy fight to make. Easy fight. Same promotional outlet. Easy fight to make.
But what about Lamont Roach? Don't you think he
again,
deserves a match?
I think Lamont Roach deserves the opportunity as well. But, for whatever reason, Tank said he wanted to fight Pitbull Cruz. And it's an easy fight to make, man. It's not difficult or hard or anything. You know what I mean? So either fighter would give him, I think, definitely a good scrap. But if he chooses to see a fight Cruz, maybe he sees some slippage in Cruz' game. You know what I'm saying? Because again, he fought Pitbull Cruz around 4 years ago now, almost 4 years ago. And
yep.
Yeah, maybe he sees a little bit more wear and tear in Esau Cruz to where he feel he can exploit though. But again,
well, here's the most important part, Rodney. Pitbull Cruz is a much bigger draw than Lamont Roach.
True. Absolutely.
And he is a much more vulnerable fighter. And while we're at it, let me ask you, what did you think? Did you think Lamont Roach deserved the victory? Did you think Pitbull Cruz deserved the victory? Or do you think it was merited a draw? And what did you think of the referee taking a point from Pitbull Cruz late in the fight?
Well, if you've been following boxing as long as I have, it's always seemed to be some kind of controversial judges, man, in the state of Texas when they have a fight. It never fails. It's always up for debate. And, this time was no different. Now, as far as who won the fight, I'm going to be honest, man. I don't have a quarrel either way. I do think Lamont Roach came on at the end. I also understand though, but Pitbull was the A side, you know. So it was going to be tough to sway the judges totally, but I think we should see it again to really settle it. I think that it was no real definitive winner. I don't have an issue with it being a draw. If you have Pitbull Cruz 7-5, I'm not gonna twist your arm about that. But the judges had it a draw. And I think, man, it'll do well again. I think folks will, wherever they choose to fight at, whether it's the Alamo City, Pitbull backyard in California, I think it can do a decent gate. And I think, the drums can be beaten for that fight.
Well, I tell you what, wherever they put Tank versus Pitbull 2, it's going to be a sellout.
Yeah.
And Lamont Roach, hey, brother, you snooze, you lose. If you can't sell tickets, what good are you in the sport of boxing, or in the business of boxing, I should say? That's it. Oh, you know what? I think we may have one more, brother. Here you
Okay.
go. Last one. Fact or fiction, Rodney? Heavyweight champ Alexander Usyk, just like Terrence Crawford, is an old school ATG, but a beneficiary of a lackluster era. Fact or fiction?
I would say fact, man, because one thing about this era of heavyweights, they're tentative and they're afraid to get hit. They're afraid if they lose, they won't get another fight. Uh, it was no easy touches back in the 80s or 90s, man. I think he would have really had to fight fighters like, you know, Corey Sanders, Evander Holyfield, Michael Moore, Lennox Lewis, Hakeem Rahman, Mike Tyson. Uh, it's just, man, he would have really had to dig deep. And let's not minimize, man.
Against Razor Ruddock.
Razor Ruddock would have, man,
Shannon
fallen.
Briggs.
Shannon Briggs, they would have fallen. But let's look at this though. Anthony Dubois hurt Usyk in their first fight. Dubois hurt him, and that should have, man, really. Okay, we all know, in my opinion, but I don't want to go down that road though. With that being said, that could have been a reoccurring theme if he would have followed a lot of the guys from the 90s, though, because man, they had
Indeed.
that kind of power. Okay.
Indeed. So let's keep that same energy regarding Terrence Crawford. Just 15 years ago, 20 years ago, how does he fare against Sergio Martinez, Antonio Margarito, Paul Williams, a
Yeah.
prime Manny Pacquiao, a prime Floyd Mayweather Jr.? How does he fare against those guys? Miguel Cotto, Zab Chuda.
Yeah. Joshua Clottey, all them guys, man. That
shit.
Yeah. Joshua Clottey.
This is
Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley.
Era. Shane Mosley. Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar De La, man, come on now. Huh? Fernando Vargas.
Fernando Vargas. How does Terrence Crawford temper the onslaught of Marcos Maidana?
Yeah. Or
Amir Khan.
Hey. And don't forget
I'm not talking about the Amir Khan he fought on pay-per-view. That was worthless.
Yeah. And don't forget about my guy. Okay. Winky Wright, Vernon Forrest. Man, all them dudes with some man. Look. Okay.
Dude, Vernon Forrest would have been a problem with that jab.
Yeah. That jab and that overhand at right.
Look. But in all of these matchups, both Usyk and Terrence Crawford are live dogs. But don't get me started on Ike Ibuchi.
Yeah.
I tell you what, brother, you're partying shots for our listening audience. Thank you for joining us tonight, Rod.
Tune in tomorrow. We'll look at the fight. We'll watch it. We'll dissect it. We'll come back real soon. We'll talk about it. And I would love to hear, everybody's take and what they think. But I'm very curious to see how it plays out. And, hey, I'm pulling for Joshua, though. Let's just be clear. I'm pulling for Joshua.
Guys, me too. Me too with Knockout Thunder. But it's not going to happen. Guys, once again, we're going to go live immediately following the fight tomorrow night if I'm not DJing or hosting karaoke. So stay tuned for that, guys. But on behalf of Rodney Green, I'm Joseph Aaron coming to you live from Brandy's Ice House. Have a great night, everybody.
Vashon Holdings proudly presents WaraWeek Radio Chat